And good evening, race fans. We are live today. I'm Handsome Lars, and you're watching. I have turned on my microphone. You're watching TRACC TCR Championship Season 2, Round 4 from Sonoma. That's this way. Right this way. All jokes aside, though, it is nice to be back here, and it is. Tonight's race is one of the toughest in North America. It is a NASCAR track, usually at least. It is full of nasty bumps and bits and blind curves and everything. And everyone in the practice session has complained. It is different. It's difficult. It's different. You keep rolling the car. So, I would say there is crash guaranteed tonight. The format, as always, 20 minutes of qualifying, which begins in a moment. 11 lap first race. We take top 8 from that, flip them over, and give them 14 laps to race on, with everything except the qualifying giving you points. And speaking of points, let's just look at the championship standings. Not very surprisingly, it is Kirkhill still in lead after winning 6 out of 6 races, no biggie. Miklas Gale and Adam Kurian making up our top 3. Our Hungarian gang, obviously. And the interesting part here is, Gale is not present tonight, but Kurian is. In fact, we're looking at him right now. Colin Barber comes in at P4, and Joran Karlberg, after his amazing ride last week, has snuck in to P5. Now we got 12 drivers here today, and one of them has made a track guide for here, and we're gonna watch that, and then we're gonna go straight to qualifying.
Try to take as good run as possible onto this start-finish, quote-unquote, straight on the Sonoma Raceway, a very difficult racetrack. And up the hill here, do not lose your grip or you will end up in the wall. Take as much of the outside curb as you can. And again here, do not lose your footing under no circumstances, or you will veer off the track violently. Towards the end of the left side curb, start braking for this right-hander. And now, on the very top of the hill, you can start braking for this long-winded left-hander, for which I broke a little too much. Now we're on to the drag strip part of the racetrack. And now, on the right side, you see a little bit of tarmac. Shortly after that, start braking for this right-hander. Now we're in a full flat-out section, as long as you've got the cojones to do so. It is very difficult to do. You might very easily veer off. When it straightens out here, start braking for this chicane. And now we're on the last flat-out section before the start-finish, quote-unquote, straight. One last attempt to overtake here into the hairpin. Try to get a good run again out of it as we're coming onto the start-finish straight. And across the line we go.
Oh, Julian. Not even he can keep it on the track. And it's unfortunate because he is one of our 12 competitors today. Now let's look at the track conditions. It is, as always, perfect. 20 degrees in the air, 31 on the track. Now we're just gonna go through all our 12 competitors for tonight's events. That was the wrong button. There you go, session information, that's the one. We're starting with our championship leader, Nils van de Kerkholt in his Honda. Joran Karlberg in his Alfa Romeo. Lucas Fischer in his trusty Opel. The first of the Hungarians, Sultan Petery in his Renault. Salicius Lovrinovicius in his Peugeot. Also in a Peugeot, Jesper Eriksson. Followed by Pavel Stopinski in the Gravel. Also in a Hyundai. Alan Barger showing up here in his Audi. Leaving the pits, Julian Strasser, our head honcho and track guide, in another Opel. In the Lincoln Co., we have Adam Kurian. Perennial backmarker, Chris Bloom shows up in his almost a Seat. And new to this week, Jacob Marshall from Ireland coming in here in his Alfa Romeo. Bit of a short field considering we usually have more drivers, but you know, with this track, I don't blame him for staying away. And we're just gonna go straight to Kirkhill. First guy in the track, and he is gonna be setting the benchmark from which we judge every other lap. He has had a lot of good battles with Miklas Gall and Adam Kurian for the pole positions. But with Gall not here, we'll have to see what Kurian comes up with. My throat makes an ugh. So I'll shut up for a bit. I actually have a drink here. Hello VMAX. I see you're cheering for Oren Norwich, but he's not racing. I'm actually assuming he's watching today. With the cupping over, we'll see Kirkhill has done a 1:44.8, and Joran Karlberg has done a 1:46.1. And Kurian is with a 1:45.7. All of them setting some pretty decent banker laps. But as I was saying before, I decided to die coughing. No Oren Norwich tonight, and he is probably watching. He should be watching. And, you know, I love talking to people in the chat, so if you are there, give me a shout out, you know? Ask your questions, all that stuff. It is what I'm here for. Let's see if we can get up bearings on this very bouncy track. Staying here with Adam Kurian with a purple first sector, which I'm not convinced is actually purple, but it should be faster than Kirkhill's. Now the times you see on the screen are a bit off from, you know, well, real life. Or at least they're a bit off from what I'm seeing, as Lovrinovicius is coming in with a 1:45.9. And Kurian is coming into the gravel, and Kirkhill is invalid. So let's look at, yes, I have I mentioned Ericsson? 1:46.0, and Lucas Fisher with a 1:46.0. I'm sorry to hear you can't participate, Remax. I am sorry to hear that. Let's see, Pavel Stopinski is in with a 1:47. And a big fat slide. Apparently that corner is a trouble for many people. They come in, there's someone behind him, let's see if we can spot who it is. As I say that, we see our first flip today. I've been told we're going to be seeing a lot of those. Now I lost my train of thought, but yo, that corner actually. People say you can do that flat out. A lot of those people who try also crash. Lot of drifting today. Now let's see. Colin Barker is in with a 1:45.2. That means we have no less than the first 6 people are in the 1:45s. He's in Kirkhill in his 1:44. And basically, it promises well for the battle for second. I feel at this point we can basically promise that Kirkhill is gonna win this championship, whether we want it or not. His last lap being a 1:45.0. Oh well. Let's go to the back here. Newcomer, Jacob Marshall. I don't have anything interesting to say about him, but we'll watch him a bit. Simply because we have two identical Alfa Romeos on track now, and I'll have to memorize them. Hitting the curb. Now, as with many American tracks, I always have an excuse not to like them. But Sonoma, it is one of those that has been, haunting me since I was a child. With the first NASCAR games, back when the track was called Sears Point. Now, a NASCAR is not a nimble touring car. It is a big, fat V8 beast. And it can't do this track. Regardless of what people tell you, it's too big for this track. And I kind of feel that the touring cars are, well, also too big. As we see Marshall coming in on a 1:46. 1:46.3. There we go. Just had to verify that number. Let's look back up here in P2. Johan Karlberg is currently on a 1:45.2. Still 4 tenths behind, though. But still in the business, as... Yeah, there we go. Marshall hit the, hit something and then you go sideways. Now, I assume Karlberg and Marshall picked the same car because it is number 69. The bunny number. And I would also say I have a lot of trouble figuring out what is a valid lap and not a valid lap. The game is not inclined to tell me. But let's look at Lucas Fisher here. He is apparently on a valid lap. His best is a 1:45.3. Lucas also has a history of being hit by other cars. It happened 2 weeks ago. It happened last week. Maybe it will happen again this week. Now let's see what his second sector time is. We'll know in 10 seconds. He doesn't spin out first. And is not a good second sector, over half a second behind. Kinda feel he is not pushing the car as much as he should. Or the other way around, he is perhaps pushing it too much. As he comes into that really big hairpin. But he is across the line in a 1:44.7 actually. It is invalid, however, I'm just seeing. It would have been a pole position, but it was invalid. Unfortunate. Let's see, Salt and Petery. I like to call him Salt and Peter. Pepper. Something. Yeah, lots of bad jokes, but he is gonna start a hard lap now. Julian Strasser right behind him. Actually, let's go to the bumper cam to see the bumps. Bumper cam, it's all academic. And now we can really appreciate the absolute thickness of some of these curbs. Most of them, very slim. But some of them, well, they get hairy. Good look here. Julian Stresser behind him. We can just sense that Renault up front. Making a big bomb and a big line. I'm not sure it's valid, but honestly, with some of these corners, it's difficult to know as we just see a link just disappear in the background. And a Hyundai is disappearing into the foreground. And Chris Bloom just, doing the same thing. Maybe out of sympathy. Anyway, Joran Kalberg is the only guy in the track well, he's the best guy in the track right now, and he's chasing that pole position. Despite being half a second down, I would say he has a good shot at it. Maybe not this lap, but definitely next lap. We're just gonna get some rubber into the track, get some heat going. All the stuff a good racing car needs. And darn it, that Alfa Romeo, that's a good race car. Now, my display is lighting up with a billion yellow flags. We're just gonna go check around. Why? That is because Chris has not actually left the place yet. He's still there, and I know Kalberg is in. Please move, Chris. You're confusing the computer and you're confusing me. Oh well, Kirkhill is coming out now. Maybe to see if he can actually make it worse. Harm some more people. Or trying to do their laps, but so far it is still Kirkhill is the only one on 144. No less than 7 guys on 145. 2 146s. And then Stopinski here on 47. And Chris Bloom on a 49. Now let's see. Kirkhill behind Fisher. And Kirkhill in a wall. Let's see. Is he gonna make just one more banger of a lap? Just to prove a point. As we see some movement in the tables, Julian Strasser has snuck up on a 145 now. Actually, he was there, but he has made a slight improvement into a 145.3. Of our one purple sector. Right under the limit of the curbs. It is very smooth driving. He knows when to cut and when to stay off the curbs. Now coming up to the second sector, also purple. And it's 3/10 faster than his other best sector, obviously. And he carried that momentum towards the finish line. Does he hit that wall and exit? That's a good question, isn't it? Let's see. Oh, 144. 144.3 is the time of the day. That will not be caught. Alberg is on an out lap. Barker is on a hot lap, but he is more of a race guy. He is not a hot lap guy. Let's go back to the Hungarians here. P3 in the championship, Adam Kurian. Unfortunately, there is no Miklos Gell tonight, whom he is a single point behind. Which is a shame. It would have been an excellent championship battle, but we'll have to see if we can get some pace into that car tonight, and at least do his country proud. But maybe not on this lap. It's also right to the edge of the curb. Doing well to avoid there. Across the yellow line, but not the white line. And you cut there. And double cuts. No, that's not a double cut. Kirkhill did a double cut on that one. Got a bit of gravel going. We could have taken half a meter more there. There's just enough time for one more lap, so let's see. We'll have him go across the line, and we'll just look at who is left out on the track. It is still his best lap, 1:44.9. Even though, well, I'd argue he could actually cut a few more tenths off, that is still P2. Does Karlberg have a response? He is currently quarter of a second behind his own best time. As he comes into the finishing line here. Other people on the track is Barger, Strasser, Marshall, and Stopinski. Karlberg goes P3 with a 1:45.2. Nope, Barger's lap is not valid, and that is the results. It is Van de Kirkhill with a 1:44. Then it is Kurian, Karlberg, Barger, Strasser, Fischer, Petery, Lovinovicius, Eriksson, Stopinski, Marshall, and Chris Bloom. Now it is time to gear up for the first of our two races tonight. As always, don't crash. Every point counts, especially in this championship. And every position counts, especially 8, because 8 is pole position in race 2. So now we just wait for the game to come around. I admit, it will in 50 seconds we should go to the grid. Now this game is, well, as much as I like RaceRoom, it does have a bit of issues with transitioning between the phases of the race. Now, if we look to the left, we actually see the drag strip that actually crosses across all of Sonoma Raceway. Just a casual fact. Now, can we get all cars on the grid? And Kurian, please. 5 seconds until the lights go on. Now, there he goes. Okay, let's get ready, let's get ready, let's get ready. Kirkhill will have the good position, but it is green, it's green. Kirkhill coming in first here. Gonna start off with a good slope section. We have some love touching, some rubbing, some racing. But everyone, even Chris Bloom, seems to have made it through T1. Kurian is already hot at the butt of Kirkhill. He is not gonna let him go this time. Let's go look elsewhere. There is Bit of a clump going on here. Whoa! Lorena just comes in, bit slidey and hits Strasser. This is not the easiest track for avoiding collisions on. You might not want to do it, but you will still end up hitting someone at some point. Lots of gravel going on here. Anyway, Duran is chasing Kirkhill, and Hallberg is right behind him, and Barger. So that is basically 4 out of our championship top 5, who very predictably are also the ones leading. Lucas Fischer is fast, but he will have to avoid accidents if he wants to do well in the championship. Now let's NP lap 1. Standing so far, it is Kirkhill, Kurian, Hallberg, Barker, Fischer, Strasser, Davidovicius, Eriksson, Marshall, Dieterich, Stupinski, and Bloom. Whoa, that was a rolling Fischer. That was 2 wheels. That was 2 wheels. Will we catch someone else roll? Lucas Fischer definitely forgot he was on a motorcycle for a second. Brian has already lost a second to Kirkhill. But maybe that's not his real battle. He has to deal with the guys behind him. Oh, we got a yellow flag going on here. Kirkhill has disappeared through the ground into oblivion. And he is back into the realm of the existing. That is what happens. Strasser, however, is just in the gravel. He has not disappeared into the void. He has just disappeared into the gravel and gone to the pits. Sadly, I didn't see what happened, but there's a good chance he had a collision with someone else somewhere. Now let's see, Colin Barker and Karlberg. Karlberg is making some defensive moves and a very defensive line. And maybe he's gonna wait for Barker to make a mistake. But Barker is not the aggressive guy who makes a lot of mistakes. He is a slow, methodical driver who just waits for the moment and he goes past you. As we see Fischer take gravel. Better than rolling, I suppose. Now newcomer Jacob Marshall has taken 3 positions already and he is looking to deal with Eriksson. Chris Bloom, who had a slow start, is actually catching up to Stupinski. And we have another yellow flag. What is it? Kirkhill vanished through the void again, and now he has 100 damage according to my display. Something very strange is happening to his internet. I mean, at least it has to be the internet, because first he disappears through the void, and then he does it again and gets damage. I don't get it, but we'll find out. So I have a train behind him. Barger is coming in. That is actually a pretty good spot to attack someone. But you need more courage. You need to actually, give in. Now side by side, but not side enough. He does not have the angle. Let's see. Not close enough. Alright, we're gonna go to Lucas Fischer, because first he almost rolled the car, and then he ate dirt. What will he do this time? Now the yellow flag. Jesper Eriksson has apparently killed himself somewhere. Maybe? Can we get Eriksson on? Yep, and he is taking Sol and Peter we have with him. Big ouchie ouchie. They were close, and then they were too close. Well, they can go back to fighting one another. But Dylan tells us Strasser should have stayed out. He would actually have been in P10 by now. Which also means Jacob Marshall has now taken 4 positions. And Stapinski. Now let's go back up to Barker. E1 and 2 basically settled. Everyone has found a position they're comfortable in, except Barker, who would be more comfortable in a higher position. Let's see. Tailpipe cam. Just appreciate the rolling hills of Southern California. We are only 30 kilometers north of San Francisco. And then we have Julian in the track. In the chat, sorry. Couldn't stay out, suspension completely dead. Well, Julian, you could have pushed the car. Let's go back here. Here he has dropped Eriksson and is heading for Bloom. And we got another yellow flag. Yep. Lordovic has gone off-road at the same spot as Eriksson, as Peary, and I think Strasser as well, actually. Now, Kurian has made mistakes. Now we have a three-way train coming on. And obviously this is where we're gonna stay for a while, because, and this is the fun one. The thing about sim racing is, it might be more fun to lead the race, but there's more TV time than being P2 sometimes. Now my display is telling me Lorinovic has 100% damage. I don't think we can trust the display, but he has some visual damage to the front of his car. Let's go back up to the Three Amigos. The Amigos and Fisher. Now the question for Karlberg is, will he let Kurian go in trying to block Barger? And maybe he doesn't have to answer that question. Oh, Kurian taking 2 wheels for a moment. Let's see if we can get some good steering reports out of this today. As Slovenovic has retired. There's 2 down, 10 to go. In terms of drivers. No, we still got a good 5 laps to go. Go on with Kurian's tailpipe. You adore these camera angles. They're very fun sometimes. Up front here. And straight out again. Let's see. The 3 of them are not gonna let each other go. Elsewhere on the track, we have a good 3 to 5 second separation between everyone. As Slovenovic has actually made it back on the track apparently. Fair play. Fair play. Gonna look back here for a bit. Sultan Peary is P8, which means pole position in the next race. There's a 4 seconds down to Bloom and another 3 down to Ericsson, who could potentially challenge him. As we just catch Kralberg catching gravel. Kirkhill is still a cool 5 seconds ahead of them, and we sometimes look at them in the camera. We just catch a glimpse of him and, well, like that, one glimpse of him. We also catch glimpses of Fisher, who is trying to catch up here. Jacob Marshall, who has gone from 11th to 6th so far. On 2 wheels, no less. Parker looking at the inside, but rejecting that one. Oh, does Parker have the angle now? And does he have the pace for it? Side by side, I think Parker has it. But if he holds it, no, he doesn't hold it, but he could have. That gets Parker into P3. Now let's see. Is there gonna be a counterattack? No, not yet at least. Roll corner. No rolling. Let's go to Gut Fisher. Voted most likely to roll his car this session. Me. I voted. Ericsson is catching up to Bloom. And Karlberg is catching up Barker again. It is basically Swedish people looking at behinds. Three laps to go. Just staying with Ericsson for a moment. We will go back to Karlberg and Barker if something happens, but... No, nah. Actually, let's just go back now. Barker is catching up to Kurian again. Barker apparently has pretty good speed in his car. But across the finishing line, with a few more laps to go, it is still Vente Kirkhild. Going to make it 7 out of 7 at this rate. And I'm Kurian doing as well as we'd expect. Barker doing as well as we would expect. And Karlberg also doing as well as we would expect. Let's go back and look. Then A is gonna attack Bloom now. Or he will be in distance of it. Some bumper cam here. Bloom taking a bounce. Albert Ericsson taking gravel. And that means Bloom gets to live another few corners. Up front. Still looking. anyone make any kind of attack at any point. 3 guys within more or less a second. One and a bit more lap to go as we go over the death bump in a few moments. Oh, actually, we will have to go back because Ericsson is now side by side with Bloom, and don't hit Bloom. Now, I ain't no steward, but maybe I would look that over in a moment. Ericsson goes into P9, perhaps by hitting Bloom. Perhaps. Anyway, Barker is catching up to Kurian. Will there be a spirited last lap attempt at taking him? Or will it be into hairpin? See, Urkel looking like he has a dead car, but I know he doesn't. So there's that. Alright, back to Barker. Oh, same place as Kalberg. But no bueno so far as we go on to the last lap. Urkel is leading and he is gonna take it, no doubt. What about the podium? That's still up for grabs. Could be any of these 3. It's simply a matter of, will anyone collide with anyone? It's close, but is he gonna risk it? It is Kurian, Barger, and Kalberg racing for P2 and P3. You don't have to worry about anyone else here on the final lap. Methinks it could be one of those last hairpin attacks. Barker has done him before, and he will do him again. Oh, Kurian gets into the gravel. That gives Barker an opportunity. Coming in. Oh, bit of dare touch. They touched, but it is valid in my opinion. That means Barker is in P2 in front of Kurian in P3 and Kalberg in P4. Will there be one more attack? There will not be, as we see Nils van der Kerkel taking his 7th out of 7 possible victory, this time on Sonoma. Barker coming in 2nd, Adam Kurian 3rd, Johan Kalberg 4th. Lucas Fischer coming in P5 in a rather anonymous race. Jacob Marshall did very well to take 5 positions, and he is rewarded with a P6. Right behind him we have Paolo Stopinski. Sultan Petery survived colliding with Ericsson, going home to P8 and pole position in race 2. Jesper Ericsson did not survive the collision, only comes home in a P9. Chris Bloom did very well to hold Ericsson behind him, and he will take P10. And Lorenovicius, in his rather beat-up Peugeot, will be coming home for P11. And finally, and he might be watching, Julian Strasser did not finish. Right. And this is a good point to come back on... back on camera. As we can. as we can. That is race 1. A lot of people, a lot of collisions. Maybe some shenanigans, we're not entirely sure. Strasser had a big off. We didn't see the collision between Petery and Ericsson. And did Ericsson hit Bloom when he overtook him? And some excellent questions, and I don't have an answer for them just yet. In any case, we got our results confirmed on the screen, and we'll have race 2, which is 14 laps, in roughly a minute. Or rather, any minute. You don't know when it actually decides to switch over. How did you like the race? Please tell us. If you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on YouTube some point later, we'd absolutely love to know. Alright, 1 minute until you're on the grid. Should have all 12 cars back out. I dropped my phone on a table. We simply have to see if there's anyone who said anything in our Discord server, which, by the way, you can join. The link should be below this window. Unless you're on YouTube, in which case it should be in the description. Find out. Okay. 14 laps. We are almost ready. Petery is in pole position in front of Stopinski and Marshall. And we're green. It's taking a big line out. Marshall and Fisher having some love touches. Karlberg sneaking his way into P4 already. Raquel Barger going side by side as we go past the fence up where I can't see anything. Bit of gravel, bit of love, and we got a flipper! We got a flipper! Big one! What the heck was that? That would be Jacob Marshall coming in way hot. But the car is still in the game. Not dead after doing that flip. That is the danger of Death Corner, as I've decided to call it. Petery is in front of Stopinski, Fischer, Karlberg, Shurian. What a, what's it called, deja vu? Urkel, Barker, Lorinevicius, Strasser, Bloom, Ericsson, and Mr. Flippy. Or as other people call him, Jacob Marshall. Anyway, let's go back up front. And let's go back a bit because Karlberg is definitely attacking. Or rather, being attacked. And yes, VMAX, the track is fun if you have a stable car. Otherwise, it is a death trap. It is rolling hills with some tarmac slapped on top. Alright, lap 1. Petery, Stopinski, Fischer, Karlberg on his butt, Kurian, Kirkhilt, Barker. Lorinevicius, Strasser coming up hot, Bloom still in P10, with Jesper Eriksson behind him again. Jacob Marshall still somewhere in the mix. Will anyone flip this time around? Bit of airtime. Fisher getting a lot of airtime, actually. It's more or less a 7-man train at this point, as well, everyone goes wide. Ericsson is past Bloom behind them. Karlberg is side by side now, or at least threatening to. Urkel, who normally would have taken everyone, simply has not had room for it. And Barger apparently has just lost as Karlberg loses to Kurian. They bump, and Fisher goes wide, and here comes Kirkhill to take everyone. Tonight's big loser, Lucas Fisher, who just lost a lot of positions as Curran and Colbert hit once more. Curran hits everything, hits Fisher, hits the gravel. I'm running out of breath. But the gist of it is, Kirkhill just took 5 positions. Well, just like that. Let's go back down again. Lots of touching, but it is turn car, so there will be touching. Parker is looking to attack Fisher. Everyone is looking to attack everyone, to be honest. Bloom is last behind Marshall. As we just go bang on with Fisher, it is still Peter Stopinski and Kirkhill in the top 3. How about Death Corner for the 3rd time? How will you death today? He will not death today. He will take some gravel, but that is not death. Ooh, and Fisher going wide. He has not paid the Fisher prize, and now he must lose some positions, I think. Arinovich is sneaking into P7. And sneaking back down to P8. And back into P7, and he actually holds it. Kirkhill has caught up to the first of the 2 front runners, as in Stopinski. How will he kill today? Make no mistake, when Kirkhill is behind you, he will attack. Looks to the inside. Doesn't take it though. Actually, he does. I'm not entirely sure how. I think Stopinski simply just let him past. Maybe for his own sanity. Now, this reminds me of race 2 in the first weekend. Back at, I don't remember, Mid-Ohio, I think. Where Petery was leading the race for a long time, and Kirkhill just snuck up on him. And eventually ate him. Ate him whole, basically. As we just see Carlberg mowing the lawn behind them. It is quite an unusual situation, Max, yeah. Sure, Kirkhill had cars in front of him, but this is lap 4. Whoa, and there goes yeah, there goes Stopinski. I think he simply locked his brakes and went sideways. And that's how you eat gravel. Apparently Lucas Fisher has taken a big one because he has done P10. Sorry, we missed that one. But he has had a bit of a he has some odd lines through some of these corners. Alright, Kirkhill is coming up to Petery now. Don't shred it, Petery, he has to go past you. There is more action behind him, as Curran is catching up to Colberg. But right now, we are concerned with the lead of the race. 11 more to go, soon it's gonna be 10. And will there be a defensive move? Will there be a defensive? There will be a defensive move. Bit of touching. Will anyone do anything bold coming into Death Corner? He will not. What about behind them? No. Oh, and Kirkhill. Ooh, dope, didn't work. He stood on the brakes, the car jittered a bit. Almost got him past. now Carlberg is actually making his way up to them. And Petery survived the storm long enough to make Urkel make a mistake. Top 4 is within 2 seconds. We have Colin Barger in P5, Stupinski in P6, Lornovich in P7, Strauss in P8, Fischer in P9, Ericsson P10, Marshall P11, Bloom P12. But these are the 4 guys that we're concerned about right now. Petery, Kirkhill, Kalberg, Kurian. Into the hairpin. Barker might actually be catching up slowly. As Petery appears to be putting up that Hungarian prop. What's the word for prop? He is bottlenecking it, and here comes Kirkhill. I think he actually hit Petery there, to be honest. And Kirkhill spins as well. That was unusual. And that is an unsafe rejoin, if I may add. I think he hit Petery, and both of them simply went out, of course, and it means Kalberg is in the lead in front of Adam Kurian and Colin Barger. I am gonna have a sore throat if this race keeps up. As I said, I'm not sure what happened between Vander Kirkhill and Petery. I mean, we saw it, but it still looked weird from our angle. I think he hit Petery, who spun, which caused Kirkhill to spin as well, I think. It is no way of knowing, but it actually means Pinsky is back up in P4. Let's go back down here. Julian Strasser has been taken over by Lucas Fischer. And Lornovich is just chilling in P7. Now, will we have a race winner who is not named Nils? Only one way to find out, and that is by staying here on track. Lots of small trains have formed along the line. No one has really been lost just yet. More to go. And Kirkhill again with an aggressive move, which actually makes Sopinski misbreak a bit. And where's Kurian? Why is Kurian there? That is a weird place for a Link to be. Again, I'm sorry we didn't miss we didn't get that. And we don't have a replay system, so I can't tell you what happened. But it means, incredibly enough, Jorn Kalberg alone in the lead. 2 seconds in front of Colin Barker. Another 3 seconds ahead of Nils van der Kirkhill and Peter Sopinski. Now we got a bit of a house fight going on between 5 guys here. That is Petery, Kurian, Lonovich, Fischer, and Strider. I am talking too fast. And brief. Anyway. Fischer taking Lonovich. No. Hey. Ooh, that's a lot of touching. Now he's rubbing against Strasser door to door. Coming into the hairpin. Don't do something you'll regret, Fischer. And he didn't. Just going to back here, it is still Ericsson and Bloom. Let's go back up. Fisher. Loinovicius. Death Corner. Coming up. We got a yellow flag. We got a... Yeah, Petery has eaten everything. Sorry, we did not get what happened. We simply do not have replays in this here. Ooh, and Fisher makes an unapproved mistake and is in the gravel. Let's go back up front. It is still Kalberg. Maintaining 2 seconds to Barker and 5 seconds to Vanderkerkeld. A name that I have said a lot. Let's look back down. Peary is still on the track. And I'm simply not sure what happened the second time. Except suddenly he was in a wall. Which happens. Oh, let's look at the dual and Strasser. Hairpin coming on, but that simply means Jorn Kalberg coming out of lap 9, still leading. Barger, Kirkhild, Pinsky, Shurian, Dorinovicius, Fisher, Marshall, Eriksson, Bloom, and Petery. Now the closest battle here is Strasser and Dorinovicius. And gravel. And a lot of gravel from everyone, actually. Alternative racing lines from the German speakers. I am getting some interesting news, apparently. Kirkhild has disappeared into the void once more. This is the 3rd time this weekend. Which means he's somewhere on the track and we have no idea where now. Until he connects again. Nope, still missing. Okay, just checking. It is interesting to have a multiplayer game where a guy just disappears. If we see him again, I'll let you know. Oh wait, there's a yellow flag coming. Yep, there's some love touching. Bit of country, bit of run and roll, and a bit of Julian Strasser hitting Lucas Fischer. Still no news on Vanderkerkeld. Maybe his connection has just flat out died. As we see Marshall mowing the lawn. Not that there's anything to mow, but... well, it's not gonna stop Bloom from trying. Alright, let's go back on the front. It is still Johan Kalberg, who is making a desperate bid to see if he can be the first non-Dutch winner in this season. 2 seconds behind him, it is still British man Colin Barker. And presumably in 3rd, although we can't confirm it, Gravel. Also Nils Vanderkerkeld. We have no idea where he is, to be honest. So that's probably a disconnection. But in actual 3rd, it is Pavel Stopinski. He survived mistakes, he has survived the Dutch. Now he just has to survive 5 laps. Let's go back to the back end. Petery and Bloom in the battle for last place. Or P10, depending on how you see it. And again, Petery, that was a very interesting angle. And he lets Bloom pass. That is very sportsmanlike. Circle has written it was a disconnect. Thank you for the update, VMAX. That is a shame. That is a darn shame. Also a darn shame that the game simply has not noticed. Well, that means we're gonna have a new winner today, and that is currently looking like Johan Karlberg. The question is, does Colin Barker actually know? If he knows, shouldn't he be attacking? That's 2 seconds up to Karlberg. And the battle for P3, Kurian is approaching Stopinski. He'll stay on them for a moment. Oh, and back here, Peter is... Wrong place. Oh yeah, back to Kurian and Stopinski. Ooh, they touched. That was a big one. And Kurian simply... I think he overshooted the breaking point as well. Kurian has gone past Stopinski. Oh. Bloom doing a multi-roll. Beautiful. Loaded chases P5. Strategy seeing if he can annoy Lucas Fisher. And Stopinski has not given up on this whole winning thing. Or at least finishing third. But let's look at the battle of the German speakers. As Bloom retires, I think he rolls the car again. That's not gonna work. Brashley looking to the inside. Another yellow flag for Bloom. Bloom, what are you doing? Bloom, no. And he retires. Okay, back to Strasser. 2 laps to go. These are the 3 guys duking it out for P5. Let's see if Death Corner holds any surprises. Apparently not. Stopinski has let go of Kurian. So we're gonna cut back up to the front here. Karlberg? Is he being catched by Barker? I kind of think. Will Barker make one final suicidal attack? And before we find out, will Fisher do anything? More to the point, can he do anything? Alright, Karlberg coming in. It is a final lap now. Final lap. Fisher actually out to accelerate for WTCR, who may touch in spot. This is following him going into Death Corner. Well, going across the finish line first, and then Death Corner. Smart, be heavy with P6. Oh, they survived Death Corner, and that means... And no, actually, Strasser doesn't survive Death Corner. But he will survive the race at least. Alright, we're gonna cut back up here. Watch Colbert take a surprising win. I would assume at least. Barker is trying his best, but he is just not catching. Barker almost touching the second. But it is going to be too little and too late. Final turn. That's one. And it's Johan Kolberg taking his first championship victory this weekend. This season even. Colin Barger is going to be P2 after solid run, basically. Adam Kurian, despite all the touching, coming in P3. Pavel Stupinski, a bit of luck has taken him to P5. Lovren Vitchius had gone past Fischer while we were looking away. And he's going to take... He's actually not going to take P5. Fischer is going to take him on the finish line. And Strasser is going to glide into existence at P7. Marshall, P8. Ericsson, P9. Petery, P10. And our DNFs are going to be Chris Bloom and championship leader Nils van der Kerkheld. As we just get that on the display one more time, Johan Kalberg, it's our surprise winner tonight, basically. It also means, well, top 3 is gonna finish, well, top 4 in the championship is gonna finish in the top 3. And once the stewarding is out and we'll have some arguments and all that, we might see the championship implications. But now I'm gonna go to the webcam again. Gotta go to the webcam. Because we're obviously not done, we have 2 more rounds. Coming up next week, same time, same channel. Watkins Glen, that's a great track. If you're a bit bored, we are hoping to hold a bit of a Nordschleife in the TCR in a few weeks. So, keep an eye out for that. And thank you for watching, by the way. And thank you for the comments, Remax, in the comment section. And, well, I don't think we have anything else. It's basically, see you next week at Watkins Glen and in 2 weeks at Daytona. Bye-bye.